Okay, I think we are live. I think she is going to put the intro and stuff. Okay, cool. We are live. Hello, everyone. This is Abhinav Majumdar from Spaceonova, and I welcome you all to celebrate with us the International Observe the Moon Night. This day has been celebrated and initiated by NASA in the last 11 years. It occurs annually in September or October when the moon is around the first quarter, a great phase for evening observing. Everyone on Earth is encouraged to adore the beautiful moon, especially today. For the next part of the session, we shall have our special guest, Mrs. Webb, to talk upon the possible career paths in the field of lunar sciences. Mrs. Webb is an education specialist at Lunar and Planetary Institute with 7 years of experience as a pioneer educator. Working closely with her team and audiences, Mrs. Webb strives to infuse technology into her programs. She assists with all of LPI's public engagement efforts and leads LPI's portable planetarium loan program. Her knowledge and experience, down to earth style, and empowering messages have made her a valuable speaker. So, Mrs. Webb, we all are very happy to have you here as a part of today's event. And now I will pass on to you to throw light upon the field and deeper details.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That was such a warm welcome. Thank you so very much. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my screen share. Is that okay?
Sure, please do.
All righty. All right. So could you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome, awesome. I cannot see your beautiful face. Just let you know, I cannot see your face during this time. So,
Sure.
welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to our session of International Observe the Moon Night. So, who am I? Who is your speaker? My name is Sha'Rell Webb, and again, thank you for that lovely introduction. I am a education specialist with the Lunar and Planetary Institute. I'm also a wife, a mother, and I have businesses outside of that: motivational speaking, coding with a twist, financial advisor, and on fire to inspire consultation. But you know what? One of the things that I'm most proud about is my influences of an education specialist. So, one of the things that I have the joy of doing is hosting virtual programs, which is called VEEPS, Virtual Exploration Experiences with Planetary Scientists. The Lunar and Planetary Institute's public engagement program connects families at home with planetary scientists and demonstration. VEEPs are just 30 minutes online session that includes a live presentation by a planetary scientist, along with the relative demonstration and questions and discussions with the audience. And so here you see some pictures in which were broadcasted or shown during the 30-minute VEEPS presentation. The goals of VEEPS, if someone would ask me, well, why is VEEPS important? Well, VEEPS invites an organization and a public to connect with planetary scientists. It increases our reach to diverse audience we haven't served in the past. And not only that, it will spark an interest in planetary scientists and science. And last but not least, one of our goals are to enable planetary science to share their research and careers. So here I wanted to show you one of our scientists by the name of Justin Filiberto. He studies Venus, and his presentation was The Forgotten World. So take a look.
And here's the yeast and water. Everybody ready? Because this is our big moment. And we're pouring it in, and we're going to take that out, and here we go.
So this demonstration was very important because Dr. Filibretto, he studies Venus. And so even though we knew that there were volcanoes on Venus, he discovered that there were active volcanoes on Venus. And so my task and my duty at LPI is to make sure that our scientists, their research is then revealed to the public. And so my manager and I, Christine Shupla, and myself, we came up with this demonstration of the elephant toothpaste because it resembles a pancake dome. So take a look at the rest of the film.
And there we have it.
All right. So that actively demonstrates not the creation, but the resemblance of a pancake dome that's on Venus. And so here, another scientist that I would like to introduce to you, her name is Dr. Kenda Lynch, and she's an astrobiologist. And so the presentation that we did for her for VEEPS was searching for alien life. And so during the pictures that you see, there are three clear cups of what is sand. And so we are then asking the audience, how do you search for life on other planets? And so here you have three different photos or three different cups, and we add certain ingredients to each of them. And so the Searching for Life write-up is with the link below. The next slide, I want to introduce to you Dr. Prajaktamani. She studies meteorites. And so this particular presentation was meteorites providing clues to the past. And so from this presentation, we created a space rock, a meteorite game that we played with our participants. So one of the posts that we created was, if you had a question for Dr. Mani, the space experts send us the questions using the hashtag. So this is how we are infusing or captivating, engaging our audience when we do our online presentations. So also here that I want to show you that there were three different scientists that have three different, not career avenues, but their focuses are different, all being planetary scientists. Here you have a VEEPS program. We were studying Earth Day, which was April 21st. It was the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And so we presented Dr. William Stefanow. He's from Aries, and his presentation was Observing Earth from the International Space Station, partnered with Ms. Tina Hart, who works at the NASA Langley Research Center, and she presented the Globe Observer app to the audience. And so, everyone, I definitely want to put emphasis on ways of connecting to our NASA funded scientists. See, everything that we do, because it's NASA funded, it is free to you all. We do not pay or receive compensation from our connection of our scientists to our audience. So if in the future, if you're looking for a speaker request, these are the links for the LPI speaker request form shown below. Also, if you're looking for a NASA science mission director, what drives us is going to be from the second link. And if you're interested in looking for an AAS astronomy ambassador, you can follow that link. My manager, Christine Shupla, email address is at the bottom, or you can simply email me and we'll make sure that those connections are made. So here I want to speak about and talk about internship opportunities. There is one that's not listed. It's called XMASS, EXMASS, that is strictly for high school students. So I understand that there are people in the audience listening now that are currently in high school, and XMASS would be a perfect opportunity for you to attend. Of course, visiting our LPI website and type in XMASS so you can be directed to the proper application. So here are three known national programs that you can also participate in. The LPI Summer Internship Program, where they experience cutting edge research with LPI or the Johnson Space Center scientist mentors. We also have the Exploration Science Summer Internship Program. Where you get to work with a scientist mentor to integrate science priorities with NASA's lunar exploration initiatives. And last but not least, we have the Summer Undergraduate Program for Planetary Research. All of them work usually in the same way, where the biggest takeaway would be that you will be working on real life research with a scientist, helping them to gather as much research so they can present and we can further lunar exploration. And so I also want to talk about our Cosmic Exploration Speaker Series. So if you are ever interested in attending our Cosmic Exploration Speaker Series, we have one coming up called the Psyche Mission, which is October 15th. And these are also live and in person, so you can ask as many questions as your heart desire to get clarification on exactly what is happening. And so here are future events, and the dates are yet to be determined, but we do know that they're going to be in the winter time. The theme for this year is To the Moon, Asteroids, and Beyond, the coming decade of solar system exploration. And so I'm coming to the last part of my presentation, and we're going to get into Q&A. But before I go, I want to all invite you to join us for our International Observe the Moon Night, which is today, happening at 4:30 Central Time, and it's going to be live streamed on NASA TV, NASA Facebook, NASA YouTube channel, and NASA Twitch as well. So LPI, we will go up at exactly 7 p.m., but the event is spanning over about several hours. Thank you so much for listening, and I am welcoming your questions at this time.
Thank you so much for your wonderful talk. It was so informative. So before we kind of jump into the audience questions, we have some questions from our end, from this Spaceonova team. So let's move on to that. Okay, so Mrs. Webb, can you please give us an insight over how a day in your life looks like as an educational specialist?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that I check first, of course, is email, right? It's all about communication and understanding what need there is out there. So, as a day in an education specialist life, I'm taking requests. Requests can come from high school, middle school, elementary, or museums, or anywhere. They are wanting to know Girl Scouts or the other public organizations are wanting to be connected to our experts. And the thing that we have most of all are what? Scientists. And even though our scientists are currently in their research, they find time to perform outreach. And so what that means is that we sit down with them in a virtual space, usually either Zoom, Ring Central, something like that. And we are having a conversation. They put slides together, and based off of the request, I then choose the proper scientists to relay this information. So if the audience is wanting to know more about asteroids or meteorites or things of that nature, then of course I wouldn't choose someone that specializes in just studying the moon only. So it is my job to make sure that the request is partnered with the proper scientists to deliver what they want.
Wow, that looks like a whole lot of work along the day. So, yeah. I had a really interesting question. Like, I was kind of curious that the internships at Lunar Planetary Institute are surely somewhat different than the other institutions, right? So, what's kind of that unique factors that are in those internships that are not available in the other institutions?
Well, I think that definitely what set us apart is the diversity of the scientists that we have. We have scientists, planetary scientists that study moons, ring system, gas clouds, and the magnetosphere. But they are ranging from astronomy, geology, chemistry, physics, and biology. So, with this being said, that it doesn't quite matter. Well, I don't want to say that it doesn't matter what you're going to study in, but because we have a wide range of scientists, you're definitely going to get exactly what you need. And not only that, you have the opportunity to work with actual research. So this is not scenario type basis or a hypothetical thing. You get to work on real instruments with the real scientists who have been doing this for decades.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I would surely like to be a part of it
I
since
would love for you to.
yeah, I was also kind of, very much interested in it. I just graduated my high school. So
Mhm.
I plan to do all that internships and stuff. And since I'm very inclined to this field, let's see if I can get into Lunar and Planetary. Actually, maybe we can meet in person someday. Okay, next question is, would you like to cover on the scope of opportunities, that high school students have in this field? Like what sort of research opportunities or internships and stuff that are available just to high school students?
Yes, and so I spoke briefly earlier about our XMAS. XMAS opportunity is just for high school students only. And one of the things that's great is that, of course, we're navigating this virtual space. And what we will ask if you have a mentor on your campus, excuse me, someone that you are familiar with, right? Then they will be your mentor person that you will go to. And if you are, struggling or having any questions, then this will be your sponsor or this will be your adult representative. But we are also partnering with you with a scientist as well. So the scientists that you're partnered with, you can email them and they're basically your advisor. So while you're in high school, you can virtually work with one of our scientists or a scientist from JSC, and you are working on hypothetical situations that can grow into something that is eventually published and actually used.
Oh, that's so cool! Wow. I kind of remembered about one of the opportunities that I participated in,
Mm-hmm.
being a part of the New York Academy of Sciences, which is a very popular research
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of work with an international team on the project Lunar Colonization. So
Okay.
yeah, so I was thinking that what's your opinion about lunar colonization and how do you think, our space industry is working on that and how it's kind of proceeding in the world of today, given the excitement of everyone to colonize space? And yeah, your personal thoughts about should we colonize space, should we not, the ethical stuffs. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've sat in a lot of talks regarding this very same topic, and what because I'm now immersed in this space, I've come from a classroom space, but now that I'm immersed with this, you know what? I actually think that it's something that can actually happen. But before, it just seems a little far fetched, and so future. But
Yeah.
now I actually can envision this happening very soon, at least within my lifetime. And so I think that it's something that can be done and will be done in our
Wow.
lifetime.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. I am more of like a colonizing space person. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
this is
wanna
very
bring up
interesting.
another point. I remember that there was an astrobiologist, the last one that I've heard. She stated this. She said that I do not believe that we were supposed to um be here on Earth for as long as we have been. Like this is not the only planet that we were designed to live on. That just blew my mind, I'm just like, what? And so it just seems as if, hmm, maybe she's right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of really interesting, and I feel that this is pretty much possible coming up in a few years. Maybe we all are gonna go to space and colonize it. So yeah, in fact, we actually kind of structured a research about that. So maybe that could be the possible model that's coming up in the future. Let's see. Okay,
Exactly.
since we kind of got into this topic, maybe we could talk about what do you think if alien life exists, extraterrestrial life and stuff, and other exoplanets and stuff. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? Being working with astrobiologists, and especially on the slide that I showed you, searching for life, I want to make sure that it's in the proper context. And so when we are working with different groups or different students, and of course they're very impressionable, we want to just make sure that we are crystal clear on what life is, right? And we don't want to paint this picture of something that is fictional. So, like the things that we see in the movies, we don't want to make sure that it is not dressed up and made to where there are monsters, things like that. But when we're talking about searching for life, we're talking about microorganisms, right? We're talking about things that are the definition of life. As we
Yeah.
know it, is something that is repeatedly doing a certain thing, right? And so we just want to make sure that our definition of life and is crystal clear when we're going into different spaces, especially when we're talking about impressionable audiences. We don't want to, give misleading or misconceptions or establish misconceptions within our students.
Oh, that's really cool. So, what personal advice to me and would you consider providing the upcoming youths who shall kind of pursue a career in space, like become an astrophysicist or an astronaut? Also, could you just highlight maybe people who are not from the scientific background, can they pursue a career in space? Is that possible?
Absolutely. I've also definitely believed that STEM careers, right? STEM careers is definitely where it's at. And so if you're looking to pursue a career in planetary scientists or work for NASA, you would want to look into STEM careers, but just not as, when we think about STEM careers or think about NASA, we only think about that astronaut, right? We don't only think about actually us physically going into outer space, but there are so many occupations that make that event happen. And so you definitely need those STEM careers, but you also need non-STEM careers as well. And so you have, I won't say regular people because they're also within their own right heroes as well. That's what keeps the wheel moving, right? And so you have STEM careers and non-STEM careers working on that one goal of taking our beloved astronauts, male or female, into outer space and getting them back home. And that's ultimately the goal. And to bring back more information than we knew before going, right? Because that's what makes it all worth it. And so I definitely believe that upon studying exactly what it is that you want to do, well, that's the whole purpose of interning, right? You want
Yeah.
to test it out, see if this is something that you want to do. And especially when you have a passion or you get there and you're like, you know what? This is not what I ultimately thought that it was going to be. Well, you have made preparations so early that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to go down a different path. That's why you intern and you experience because you don't want to spend all of that time studying a certain topic and discover that you don't like it, right? So then
Yeah.
interning is all about finding the passion and finding that something that drives you. And I believe that anything that you choose, any occupation that you choose, you can definitely find it with NASA because it spans across the board. Anything that you enjoy doing, I'm pretty sure that you can also find the occupation within or under the NASA umbrella.
Absolutely, we do. Thank you so much for that personal advice and giving that advice to people that people from non-scientific background can also kind of take up a career in space, which is kind of really cool.
Yes.
So I was reading more about you and your profile, and I got to know that you have done your BS in chemistry.
Yes.
And that made me curious to ask you about what factors considerably encouraged you to take up a career in space science as a student.
I think that that's a great question. I'm usually asked that question, and I think that it's great, and I think you should know it. So, as a classroom educator, I taught high school chemistry, I taught seventh grade math, and I also taught eighth grade science. And so, what I discovered is that the students in which I was serving, they dealt with a lot of personal things. Within their family, within their neighborhood, within their school. And so it was more so like, they can't maybe think outside of their surroundings. Are you familiar with Magic School Bus and Miss Frizzle?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Well, this is a cartoon. It's an animation. So, after the video, you may take a look, but it's a cartoon. And so Miss Frizzle was this astronomy teacher, and she would, wear all these different space themed dresses and earrings and, have her hair in different styles. And so what Miss Frizzle would do, she would bring space or whatever they were learning, science, to the students. And so that was my theory. That was my theory in the classroom. So if I have students who are so bogged down and so captivated by their current circumstances, then there was not enough room for me to teach them what I needed to. So I had to bring science and space to them. So with that being said, I just had to be very, very creative for them to cut off what they were actually going through so I can get them to understanding the basic and abstract thinking and spatial reasoning with learning about space. So how did I do that? Well, I immersed myself in professional development, right? It's all about being that lifelong learner because, if you are at this space where you feel like you know everything, then it's usually in another business that I have, then if you're not learning, then you're dying, right? So it is very important to me that I am and continue to be a lifelong learner. So I had to participate and attend professional development so then I could go back and be able to teach my students of those things and coming over their personal circumstances so then they can learn what does it mean that when you go outside and you're looking at the sun, that the sun light take exactly 8 minutes to get to you. It just blew their minds. But it was because no one had ever presented science to them the way I did. And so it's all about being creative and being relevant, being culturally relevant. And so when students understand that you care about their personal lives as well as academics, then major breakthroughs will begin to happen.
Yeah, you're so right about that. I'm so glad to hear that opinion from you. So we have got some questions on the YouTube comment section. Let me check if I can pick up some. Okay,
Okay.
so someone's questioning, what do you think about how many years we will be able to see the boom in the space industry in India as well as through the entire world?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, so he is asking about how many years do you think that the space industry will take to flourish across India as well as the overall world, and where will
Oh,
it kind of lead to, basically?
you know what? Man, that's like $1 million question. That's $1 million question because we all know that in order for this to happen, we're going to need more resources. The green resources is going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of money. And so I think that, again, with the coming goals, partnering, establishing partnerships, and partnering, especially when we're talking about, see, space it's the responsibility of everyone, right? And so I definitely believe that establishing more partnerships and investing in those things that it eventually happened, but we must get on to one a car so that can happen a lot faster.
Right. I think you've got muted. Can you please check?
No, it's clear. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, you didn't hear anything I responded with?
I couldn't hear the last part. Like
Okay.
just the last part.
Okay, I was just reiterating that it definitely takes partnerships. It takes partnerships that have ideally the same goal, and then it will also take money. It's gonna take money to fund those things that we desire to have, but most of all, it's gonna be the partnerships and investing for that goal.
Yeah, I agree with you in that. Okay, someone asked that how can they join your Miss Webb? I cannot hear you again. Uh, I cannot
I
hear
am
you.
I am
Yeah.
unmuted.
Okay, but somehow, for sometimes your voice is kind of going. That's all right. So the
Okay,
next
I
question
apologize.
is that's all right. So the next question is, they are asking about how they can join these internships at the LPI and how whom to contact and stuff. So could you give some insight about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you visit the Lunar and Planetary LPI.edu and you go to About Us for Education, there are three people. It's going to be myself, Sha'Rell Webb, Christine Shupala, and Andy Shaner. And it's going to have our email addresses there. We would love to see hear your messages and receive your emails. There's also an internship portal or link, and so you can go directly to the LPI website, and there are tabs for internship applications, and you can fill them out right online.
Yeah, sure, we will do that. And okay, there's someone who is asking about a recent discovery that happened. So basically, we found, phosphine in Venus. So, what's your opinion? Do you think it's very probable now that we will find microbial life in Venus, and probably we'll see that life is even existing in extreme conditions of Venus? What's your opinion on that?
You know what? I think that's an awesome question. We know that what is called extremophiles, and so it is likely that there could potentially be something there, but of course, with further research investigation, then we would not know for sure. But I definitely think that it's a possibility that things are surviving in extreme conditions. I mean, if we one of the best things or one of the best resources that we have now, right, is our home Earth. What we have now on Earth, we see that there are extreme conditions on planet Earth that resemble what's out in our outer space and on other planets. And so we know that there are things that can live in extreme conditions here. And so that could also be the case on other planets as well. And so with continued research, we could probably have a confirmed that this is so, but I definitely think that it's definitely possible.
That's cool. That's really cool. And someone is kind of questioning about there was this recent discovery regarding CD3 in 2020, which is like known as the mini moon of the Earth. So, what's your opinion about that, and what do you kind of like to share about that mini moon concept?
The mini moon concept. So I am unfamiliar with the
Uh-huh.
mini moon concept, so I definitely don't have an opinion at this time about it.
All right, Shirley. So finally, I think I would like to ask you one more question
Okay.
regarding, you are experienced as an educator for like 7 years. So would you like to talk about how that experience went like and how it has shaped you along in becoming an educational specialist today at LPI?
Yeah, absolutely. So LPI has actually been in existence for about 50, we're coming up on 52 years. And it is a basis for it's a research institute what house scientists to conduct their research. And so how I feel like I fit their best education specialists is not only matching the scientists up with the different audience, but also coaching them so when they do give a talk, it could be understood in a simple and less complex language. And so normally time, you have, when you're thinking about the audience in which you're speaking to, you want to address some things that would not go over their heads. And so being an educator in the classroom and working one-on-one with students, of course, I definitely miss that. But I feel that my transition to LPI has created a larger impact because I am not just influenced the 150 students that I have within that year, but with the opportunity of LPI, I have the chance to influence the adults that are going to go back and teach the masses. So it really leans its way to a bigger impact of being the education specialist, which is with instead of being the classroom educator.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. So, finally, before we kind of conclude this live event, would you like to share some words to our audience about anything related to this event?
Yes, absolutely. I just want to encourage everyone to go outside and view the moon, take pictures, and just gather your family around to appreciate the moon that we have and that we have further exploration of what's to come. And I just want everyone to not only appreciate it, but to expose others about it. I mean, there are still things that we don't know. And so when we talk about further exploration, a lot of times people are, the main thing that comes to their mind is exploring Mars, right? Because it's going to be new, fresh. But there are a lot of things about the moon that we are yet to discover. So I just want to encourage everyone that is listening today is that they can be the next researchers, to figure out, to know something and learn something new. So I just want to encourage everyone that there are so much more things to learn, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to see what comes out of it.
Sure, that those were really good words. So I think that is all for today's event. Thank you all for joining us in the International Day of the Moon Night. Thank you so much, and we're so excited that you joined us, and we had a lovely discussion with our special guest. So bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much.